Hello, everyone. My name is Magali Marquez, and this is my performance task. Before I begin, I would like to share a little bit about myself. I was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and lived there till about the age of 4, so I don't remember much. When I turned about 4.5 or 5, that's when my family decided to move to Southwest Denver, which is where I currently live. A fun fact is that I have lived in the same zip code since moving here. On the top right, you'll see my amazing family. This is a picture of us at my sister's quinceañera. My dad is a plumber and my mom was a preschool teacher. I have a twin sister who is also wanting to be a preschool teacher, a brother who is studying video game design, and a sister who is studying graphic design. Our family loves pets, and we have a lot of them. We have a dog, bunnies, birds, and fish. Lastly, some of my favorite things to do are going bowling, gardening, and traveling. Now, why should you choose me for the ECE role? Well, I am friendly and caring. These two traits make me approachable as an educator and teammate. I am also honest and value this greatly since I believe it is the foundation to a trusting relationship. I would also consider myself a team player, a helping hand, and greatly flexible. In my current position, I have shown flexibility by covering classes, adding students to my intervention groups, and teaching remotely and simultaneously with a hybrid model during the pandemic. If you need me, I'll be there. Also, new and challenging things may sometimes be scary for me, but I'm always willing to try them in hopes of learning and growing as an educator and person. Additionally, I always try to maintain a positive mindset even when things get tough. This is important to me, especially when teaching young children, because their energy will match mine. I would also consider myself to be ambitious in growing as an educator by engaging in trainings and working hard to achieve my goals. And finally, I am bilingual in Spanish, which makes me a great resource for our Spanish speaking students and families. After watching the video on expeditionary learning, the elements that most resonated with me right away were the three student outcomes of effective learners, ethical people, and contributing to a better world. I believe that if we can help our youngest learners develop skills on how they can be effective learners, ethical people, and what they can do to contribute to society, we will be helping to inspire them to be kind hearted leaders with goals and values. My teaching philosophy and practice centers around the power of relationships. I believe that a positive, trusting relationship with our students is the foundation to their academic success. Additionally, being a positive role model and holding high expectations, as well as being someone who focuses on students' strengths, can help in nourishing mutual respect, empathy, and integrity. I also positively reinforce kindness and helping others, as these are two qualities that I value. Moving on to the core practices, the components that I felt most aligned with my current practice and teaching philosophy were setting and holding clear expectations, creating a positive climate for learning where students are engaged and excited to be there, positively reinforcing students to promote character and academic growth, establishing consistent routines and rituals to promote independence, and having a growth mindset so that students see mistakes as learning opportunities. The component I would like to learn more about is the habits of character and the language used to reinforce them. When it comes to my culturally responsive teaching practices to promote equity, I strive to set up an environment that is welcoming, safe, and inclusive. I tailor the environment to meet my students' needs and to reflect their cultures and backgrounds. Learning about my students' families is also important because then I will come up with ways in which to best support them and their child. A few examples would be to communicate information in the home language and collaborating with families to problem solve. Integrating the home language into the classroom is another way to promote equity and let our students know that they are valued and seen. This can be done by reading books in the home language and having labels around the classroom in the home language. To me, equity means that I am providing all of my students with rich learning experiences and opportunities by being flexible, open minded, responsive, and anti racist. I will always strive to do whatever I can to meet the needs of my students. In order to continue growing in my awareness and practice, I do a lot of self reflection of what I value and my everyday actions. I also step out of my comfort zone to tackle situations that may be uncomfortable, such as having tough conversations with parents. Moving on to classroom expectations. In ECE, our classroom expectations during circle time are to be an active participant by having eyes watching, ears listening, closed lips, and a calm body. If we are doing an activity or song, we also expect all students to participate. In the environment, we expect students to have a safe body by using walking feet, keeping our hands and feet to ourselves, and being respectful to ourselves, others, and our materials. So, this may look like using kind words and cleaning up after ourselves. We establish these expectations by being role models, modeling, practicing, and reinforcing consistently. Creating and enforcing a predictable, structured routine with smooth transitions also helps students follow expectations. Having visuals around the classroom also help remind students of what to do and where to go. In ECE, play is highly important for developing critical skills in fine and gross motor, cognition, language, and social emotional well being. To incorporate play, we create dedicated centers stocked with plenty of manipulatives and tools, such as puzzles, blocks, books, and props. We also provide plenty of outdoor time for free play. During center time, some playful activities include songs with finger plays or hold body movements such as freeze dance. We also do fun interactive read alouds where the kids can act out parts of a story as a fun way to learn retelling. Play is also incorporated during literacy and math groups where children learn through games such as I have, who has, sorting, matching, and bingo. Another fun way to incorporate play is through scavenger hunts for letters, numbers, shapes, and other objects. The critical concepts taught in ECE center around social emotional skills, literacy, and math. Key social emotional skills include how to identify and regulate our emotions, how to integrate into play with others, making friends, and problem solving. To teach these skills, we can model and practice with puppets, read certain books, sing songs, and hold class discussions regarding situations happening in the classroom, such as not sharing or hitting. In literacy, students learn how to write and identify the letters in their name. They learn how to identify and write the other letters as well, how to produce letter sounds, how to pretend read, concepts of print, and beginning to be able to retell, predict, and answer questions in familiar text. In order to teach these skills, we provide students with multiple opportunities to write their name, learn letters and sounds through the use of songs, games, and books, reading aloud, and differentiating instruction in small groups. These same teachings are used for learning key mathematical skills, such as counting up to 10, quantifying, number identification, writing numerals, sorting, identifying shapes, and creating patterns. In our ECE classroom, data is collected at the beginning, middle, and end of year through formal assessments. We assess students on literacy skills such as their ability to identify capital and lowercase letters, letter sounds, and capability of retelling key details in a familiar story. We also assess math skills such as number ID, oral counting, quantifying, one-to-one correspondence, and cardinality. After gathering the data, we look carefully at where our students are succeeding and which areas they still need to master. Based on our findings, we group students into small literacy and math groups to target their needs. We also tweak how we deliver our lessons and how we plan our lessons to target a skill that all of our students still need practice with. For example, doing a letter ID game, such as bingo during small groups, or targeting a specific letter or letters during the question of the day. We also gather data informally. For example, each morning we have our students practice writing their name, and afterwards I ask them to name their letters and what sound each letter makes. If a student doesn't know very many letters yet, I will spend extra time with them practicing how to write that specific letter, naming it, and then having them quickly find where that letter is in our classroom. Through the collection and analyzing of data to guide our teaching, we have seen that 70% of our 3 and 4-year-olds have met or are close to meeting the standards. As for professional development, the most recent training I have received was on social emotional learning through the Dinosaur School program. Our last training focused on how to teach problem-solving strategies such as waiting, asking, doing something different, ignoring, sharing, and taking turns. When we teach these strategies, we always model first with a child puppet. This child puppet you'll see on the screen, his name is Wally. We also have Molly, Diana, and Tiny the turtle. We then practice with a child. And lastly, we have students practice in pairs. To reinforce these strategies, we actively name them throughout the day when we see students using them. I have made growth in this area by being very intentional of naming the strategies when I see them being used, and only slightly prompting our students to think about which strategy will work for their problem. And finally, here are some of my passions. I am very passionate about teaching our multilingual learners. As I am a multilingual learner myself, I especially enjoy working with students who speak Spanish, since I feel that language is so powerful and its way to connect with others. I'm also very passionate about positive relationships, as you have heard throughout my presentation. I am passionate about helping others, always being there for others, giving advice when it's needed or asked for. And I'm also passionate about continuing my learning as an educator, as I want to know and just be the best that I can for our students. Thank you for your time, everyone.